Okay, I started this for a reason here. Okay, there's a Black Power movement that's going on that is pretty ignorant, if you ask me, because how does one get peace through segregation? You segregate people, and if you're already looked at as if you're if basically we're looked at as nothing already, what do you think segregation will get you? Segregation will only get you murdered and slaughtered by the powers that be. And guess what? If you don't integrate, uh, all the power is gonna be on you. Now, I don't see how people don't see the ignorance in this so-called black movement, black power movement. I don't see how we don't see the ignorance in it. We got brothers getting money, right? Got brothers getting money, but what's going on with the community? I still see people getting shot. I still see black on black violence. I don't see any change. I see you getting money by preaching some Kemet stuff or consciousness. Now, they remove God out of the whole equation. That's what one of the last things I heard before the Dallas shooting was Tommy Sotomayor, Sinetta, and Brother Polite saying, "Give up on God. It is time for us to start shooting back." And guess what? That brother Makai, he's dead. He's dead, and if he wasn't dead, he would have been in prison for the rest of his life. Now, when you start preaching stuff, words are words are very powerful. Words are very powerful. And if you're preaching violence and people go out and act on this violence, blood is on your hands. Who's scared? Nah, okay, Psycho, I want you to join. I actually opened this up for conversation. No one's scared to debate the topic. All I know is I'm scared for the black people while people keep preaching this nonsense as if it's gonna solve something. We make up what 14%? I don't even know how minimum we are to the United States. And everybody's matter of fact, before I get started, I'm gonna get you in here. Let's see. All right, Psycho. I gotta see how I spell your name. Psychopath atheist. All right. Man, I can't even find you on this thing. Here, I'll just link you and then delete the link. If I can even do that on here. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go to my other browser. Okay. Yeah, I very much want to discuss this. Uh, there you are. Come on in, brother. Tell me when you got it, or tell me when you're here. I can delete that from the other browser. Okay. Where you go? Okay, you said I'm scared to go against the powers to be. I meant I think you meant the powers that be. Now the powers that be are the reasons why black people are free in the get go. White man helped us out of slavery. White man helped us in the civil rights movement. The good white people that people seem to forget that bled with Dr. Martin Luther King, people forget them and just say, "Hey, all the white people are bad. There's none good. There's none that are worth anything." But guess what? I got plenty of brothers that are white, and I have nothing against them. Yeah, you're gone. Yeah, but okay. Since nobody joining, I'll just get on to the next topic. All right. I was talking to this one lady, and she was saying something about building up the black community, building up, building us up, and I said, "Well, whoa." Basically, to myself, where is this wealth gonna come from? Where is the wealth that's gonna build us up? No, I don't see LeBron James or anybody coming back and giving us the power and giving us some money. I don't see any brother that's got money investing in this black power movement. The community, the only way the community gets some money is by wealth. You need wealth to make things happen. You need you need billionaires to make things happen. Otherwise, we need to we need to try to first come together and first I would say quit killing each other. Okay? Black people are killing each other as we speak over gangs and beefs all over the place. How, what kind of togetherness is that? When you can't even stop killing each other. The black community isn't even united as we speak. It's not united. Chicago, murder capital of the world, still killing people like it's a badge of honor. And then you expect somebody to stand up and say, "Hey, we're black power, and we're gonna go against the white." What? In what? What army? What army is gonna help us out? All I see is random acts of violence coming through. I don't see any togetherness, and I'm glad you joined. Yeah,
Mic check. Can you hear me?
where's the yeah? Where's the
Okay.
where's the united front at, man?
Okay. What are we talking about exactly right now? You mean the United Front as far as what, black people?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by where's the United Front? You mean like I'm a
We
little bit confused. Like I fight for black unity. I fight. I'm a Pan African, so I fight for all of us to be together. That's what I preach. Now, as far as this little myth that all black people supposed to just get on the same page and do this and do that, that's not going to happen. I mean, you name me all the white people that all come on the same page and this, that, and the third about anything
Hitler, Germany,
other than the fact what happened?
Nazi Germany.
Bull crap. There was people that was against the Nazis.
How
There was
many?
people that was against the Nazis, that they had to stay quiet about it and they had to stay underground about it because they knew they'd get killed. But everybody wasn't with that Nazi program. Everybody wasn't with that. They followed it because it was a dictator that would kill them if
Would
they
you-
didn't follow it.
Would you say majority?
Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted.
Would you say majority came together?
Out of fear, not out of their choice. They didn't have no choice. It was get down and lay down.
They weren't killing
It was
each
get
other
down and lay down.
they weren't killing each other over nonsense.
They wasn't.
Nah.
They wasn't with the gassing Jews. They wasn't gassing the
They were
Jews
gassing Jews
for no
but
reason.
They weren't
Really?
they weren't senseless gang banging and killing each other over Jordan.
What do you mean gang banging and killing? They've been doing that from day one. What are you talking about? What are you pushing Christianity? Oh, my bad. Catholicism. Let's get technical. I don't want Catholicism. Pushing that all over the place. What are you talking about? Rome went over there and took over massive places all over Europe. They was the largest empire ever.
Hitler was
in the history. They didn't do
Hitler
that by
was
being
against
nice.
the Pope.
They didn't do that by knocking
Hold
on
on,
the.
bro.
They didn't do that by
Calm down.
knocking on the door and
we
saying,
can
"Please."
remain civil.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just a little passionate. I'm not. Go ahead. Go ahead, do it.
We don't have to, we don't have to rage out.
I'm just trying to. I'm just. Yeah. You know, I'm passionate. I'm just saying. Like at the end of the day, white people have been fighting amongst other white people, taking over shit for forever. This country was built off white man versus white man. So I don't know what you're talking about. Like this whole little thing. Like, trust me, I would love for all black people to get on the same page. I would love for this, that, and third. But I understand that's never going to happen. I understand there's people that's going to fight against what I want, I'm supporting, and there's people that's going to fight against what you're supporting. And no matter what me or you do about it, we're going to have different opposite sides of the spectrum. We're going to have your side that thinks we need to go for the Bible, and the Bible is the correct way, and it's not the white man's book. It's really our book, and I don't know what your position is about the original Hebrews, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. And then you got the people on my end who thinks the book is a waste of time. It ain't get us nowhere. If it ain't get us nowhere by now, we need to ditch that and think of something else and start trying to actually put our foot to the ground and actually start making some real moves. Because while we're sitting here waiting for people to save us, we could be out here saving ourselves.
So save ourselves. How are we going to save ourselves?
How are we going to save ourselves? It's a long process. It's not going to happen in our lifetime. This is what we need to get in our brains. I already got it in my brain. Our situation is not going to change within my lifetime. I'm not going to see the change. But I'm not fighting for me. I'm fighting for my grandkids, my great grandkids. I want them to be in a better situation. And I understand it's a process. We can't going to just snap our fingers and everything's going to be gravy.
What's the first thing to do, Psycho?
Well, the first thing we need to do is to clean up our own local areas, because this whole little thing, like this is the misconception that my personal problem with the conscious community. I'll tell you this right here. My personal problem is everybody's getting around the conscious community. Everybody's waiting for them to come up with a savior. It's almost like church. It's like somebody's waiting for the right Jesus, and everybody got their own Jesus. Some people think Seti's Jesus. Some people think Polite's Jesus. Not literally Jesus, but you get what I'm saying. Like just a savior. You feel what I'm saying? Like everybody's looking. That's like it's personality worship, and too much personality worshiping going on over there, and nothing's getting done because what people are failing to understand is that is only motivation. just like church's motivation, that's how I view church. I view church as motivation. Some people need that motivation. Okay, fine. If that's what you need to motivate you, then do you. But what is it motivating you to do other than following the book is my question. But whatever motivates you to get up off your behind and actually go out here and do something, do that. I don't care. But the problem is nobody's actually going out here doing anything. We got to work on fixing our own local areas. You can't help me fix anything out in North where you live at, but you can definitely help fix up your area where you live at. You can go out there and find some people.
Disagree. I disagree. Okay. I think that
you disagree.
Yeah, I think unity is what's needed. If you want to stop the nonsense, the good has to outweigh the bad.
Ultimately, but who's going to show the initiative? Yeah, we can't start a nationwide. We can't start a nationwide movement without any local movements. It's got to start locally first. Like we can't just automatically just start some local nationwide movement and just expect for everybody to jump on board. It's not going to work like that. We got to get the local movements first. And then once the local movements start, then we can start networking. Then maybe we can consolidate everything and make it all one big movement. But it got to all start locally, and people got to take initiative. People can't sit here and wait for other people to do something. Everybody's sitting around saying, well, this person's not doing this and this person's not doing that. But everybody who's saying but in the meantime, all them people that saying nothing's getting done ain't doing nothing themselves. They complaining about people not doing anything, but they're not doing nothing. So like lead by example, show some initiative. You got to actually get out here and do the work. You got to actually put your feet to the ground. These YouTube videos, they cool and everything else, to vent and, to get your thoughts out and everything else is down third, but that's not putting in work. Making a YouTube video is not putting in work. Arguing in a hangout is not putting in work. You got to actually go out here and do some things. You know what I'm saying? Like this, but people don't understand this. People can't grasp this. People think getting on YouTube, clicking on a video and commenting a few times is putting in work. That's not putting in no work.
You're right.
We got to actually do something. We got to actually do something, man. We got to make moves. And like I said, everything starts locally. Every huge movement started on a local level. You can't name me one that didn't.
Nah, what if it started and it got violent, right? Okay.
Well, I don't push for a violent movement. I'm about defending ourselves. I do support defending ourselves. I'm not about laying down and letting people run over me either. But I'm not pushing for violence. I'm pushing for us to build a nation. But again, that's not going to be easy to do. And it's not going to happen overnight.
It takes one mess up, one dude in that crowd to start a violent slaughter. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, that's with anything. I mean, if me and you go over, but maybe not me and you, let's say two white dudes go over to Australia and they murdered the leader over there in Australia. They're gonna view it as the Americans did that. We ain't had nothing to do with it, but they're gonna view it that the Americans had something to do with that. And we all gonna wear that, right? We can't control everybody. You understand what I'm saying? That's just what it is.
What would you say about an exodus out of America for the entire black people?
I don't really push for the whole go back to Africa movement thing. I don't really push for that.
If the government here is basically against the black people, why would you sit here?
Because Africa's government is screwed up also.
I know, but we could take the knowledge we got from democracy over there. And take,
I wouldn't be against it.
I know that's.
I don't push for it. I wouldn't be against it. I don't push for it, but I wouldn't be against it. But then again, but we're not getting. We still help build this place. This country was built on our backs. Yeah. Free labor that we gave them.
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna be feeling some type of way knowing that we left and didn't even get compensated for all that, for all the shit that we went through in this country.
The compensation would be all the materials in Africa. If we could all,
but that's already was ours. That was already ours.
Yeah, exactly. Now listen to this. This is what I was thinking. If the black people were to say, okay, we're fed up with how America's treating us. Okay, we're fed up with the racism. We're fed up with all of this nonsense that they're doing. Hey, give us let's contact the African people and say and see if they would accept us back into Africa, where we could build it. There's plenty of plains. There's plenty of open country for everybody to spread out and just start over. Now, I know that's a dream. It sounds like a pipe dream.
And a little bit, but I mean, ultimately, like I said, if something, we just talking hypotheticals here. If something like that was to happen, I wouldn't be against it. But we will have some other issues to worry about. This is why I said all this is going to take time, because we're not really prepared yet. We have to mentally be prepared. We have to, first of all, we got to stop pushing our people away from science. All right, because pushing our people away from science is crippling us.
What about science?
Because we can't start our own nation if we don't have the technology to do it. We have to have technology. We have to be able to keep up with the times, or else we're just gonna be wandering out there. So, we're gonna be ancient. We're gonna be dinosaurs out there living and everything else, while everybody else is moving on in the world. Like, like we got to be able to keep up with the Joneses, and we can't do that if we pushing our people away from science.
We got to get a nuke right away.
Yeah, we got to be able to protect ourselves. Yeah, we got to have an army. We got to be able to protect ourselves, because without nukes nowadays, you're nothing. You're a third world country. You're nothing.
They'll just rape us over there. That's what
exactly.
Happen.
Anyway, it won't be nothing to stop them from coming over there and doing exactly the same thing they did before.
Now,
if that's the case, then what's the purpose?
Basically, like I'm all for the black movement, but I'm talking about integrating, right? Where you got white people also, there's a lot of good white people, Psycho. Now, if they wanted to exit,
I don't hold the position that every white person is a white supremacist. I don't hold that position. No.
Okay. Now, if we all exit, if we all were getting out of here, and a lot of good white people wanted to join us and say, "Hey, we want to come with you guys. We're fed up with this too," I would happily bring them along board, because we're wanting to have peace here. Like I said, I got a white mother, man, and I know that there are good white people.
I got white people that married into my family, my cousins and stuff like that, or whatever, this, that, and the third. But I got some biracial cousins. It's tricky when you're dealing with that. You're dealing with a lot of trickery right there. I understand what you're saying. And this, that, and the third, it's just a lot of trickery going on, because there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration when you contend doing that. You also you don't know who to trust. It's like, who you consider a cool white person, other people don't know this white person. They don't know if they cool just because they cool with you. They don't know how good do you know that white person? Like, is this white person because the agent's gonna be around. They're gonna have agents, regardless how you try to spin it. It's agents floating around all up on YouTube, causing a lot of confusion. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah.
So you got to prepare yourself for all that, and when you start doing, so you got to worry about that with the black people as well. Like, it ain't. I don't want to just make it seem like just the white people. You actually got to worry more about the black people, because they blend in.
Yeah,
because they blend in. So like, you got to worry about all these type things. So it's a whole lot of things you got to worry about, man. But it's the same type of things any other nation have to worry about. I mean, you gotta have securities. Nation security got to be tight.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
you brought up that the reason why is because God's not involved. That's why you thought that I'm against this, or and I'm
I think
afraid
that's a
to.
lot of theists' problem. I think that's a lot of theists' problem because I don't even hear a whole lot of theists actually disagreeing with a lot of things that nationalists or Pan-Africanists say. It's just outside of religion, outside like the main things I hear people complain about is indulging in religion, and like that's their main problem. And you know the funny thing is, a lot of people don't even realize consciousness has nothing to do with religion at all. It has nothing to do. Like you can be a Christian and be conscious. You
Yeah,
can be an atheist and be conscious. Conscious is just understanding what's going on around you, understanding your surroundings in the world, within the world, not in the not you know, in a spiritual way, but understand what's going on within the world, like understanding what kind of system we living in and how it's built to keep us down as a people, and this, that, and the third, and understanding the situations that we was born into. Just understand our history and where we've been, so we try not to get back there. You understand? Like that's being conscious. Like all the other stuff is extra.
Let me defend myself with this. Is this ain't nothing to do with God. This is to do with the black people. The black people will get murked if they try to go about this the wrong way. If there isn't a nonviolent stance, like just like the 60s or something, where people just stood out in the White House yard, something, if it's anything to do with like Mackay X and all of that, preaching this whole white man's the devil and we're gonna grab these guns, guess what? Where you gonna get your ammo from? Where you gonna get your guns from?
This is why I just got finished saying earlier, we gotta stop chasing our people away from science, and we need to learn technology so we can build our own weapons. Because you just mentioned it, we're going to need to make our guns. We're going to have to make our bullets, because again, unless you plan on dealing with the white man again, because that's what we're going to be dealing with if we don't know how to make our own. Well, no matter how you try to spin it.
The majority of black people aren't ignorant by aren't just ignorant by accident. We're behind for 400 years of reason, right?
Yeah,
that's why we're slow to catch up.
Well, I to a certain degree, I think what's keeping us down is I hate to say it, but religion shuts off our critical thinking skills. It really does.
That's a bad thing to say, because religion was doing a lot. Man, I could get into a lot of stuff about how Christianity was the pioneers of science.
Son, I listen. Now let's be real. Now we're not going to talk about the exceptions. We're going to talk about the rule right now, okay? And let's be real. Let's be real. When you learn about God and you go to church and you just have these, the main thing they mainly do is talk at you. They do not talk to you. You are being preached to. You are being taught to recite certain verses, to learn certain verses. Most of the time they don't even teach you what those verses mean. You have to look yourself to find out what those verses mean. And this, that, and third. Like, they shut off people's critical thinking. People cannot comprehend the simplest things because their brain isn't conditioned to think that way. Their brain is conditioned for people to do the thinking for them. Their brain is conditioned for people to tell them what things are. This is this and this is that because of God. And that's what they used to people just giving them this a concrete, absolute truth that's brought down to them divinely by God. That's what they used to that. They're not used to having to think things through, think things out, like trying to map things and come to, work out equations and come to the certain come to the answers to these problems. They don't understand this. Like, I'm telling you, bro, I've been on this earth for a long time, and I'm not saying this just to crap all over religion. I'm saying this off my experiences. I've had these conversations with people, and I think it's a spell. I think it's a spell that theists are under, that just locks up their brain.
So,
Like,
I mean, you think William Lane Craig and all these other white people that go to church are basically putting a spell on themselves too?
I believe people are under a spell. I believe if you think that God is real, and most people believe this because only because they was told this. They don't really have no other rhyme or reason besides they was told this, and they didn't question this, and they didn't go through this. I mean, do they due diligence? I mean, they legit due diligence to see if this is bull crap or not. Then yes, they absolutely was under a spell. They absolutely under a spell. Because there's no way that you can hear this story of your God and not have any questions and not question any of this. There's no way, not unless you're under a spell. There's no other way.
Some of the greatest philosophers are Christian.
Yeah, and that don't mean they wasn't under a spell.
No,
they
you can't
like.
blame,
I'm not saying that these
Christian
people. I'm not saying these people are retarded, like they incapable of learning. I'm saying this spell keeps them from opening up their mind and expanding. I'm telling you, it's a hypnosis. It's a hypnosis. Like it really is.
What if you're under the hypnosis of atheists?
Well,
they want you to think that they want you to
philosophically you can look at it that way, but I think it's kind of hard because I'm actually going against the grain. You remember, I'm going against the grain, especially me being a black atheist. I'm going against the grain like a mug. So I thought this thing through. Like I thought this thing, like I have done my due diligence. Trust me. Like, you know, I've been just like you. I have been told about this God of yours since as long as I can remember. I can't even remember when I was first told. That's how long ago it's been. So like I know about this God. I've looked into all different types of religion, Catholicism, Baptist, Muslim faith, all different types of Muslim faiths, mind you, from the nation to the 5 percenters to the Moors to everything. Like I looked into the Hebrews. I've looked into this. Because as an atheist, I feel like it's my due diligence to at least look at everything. Can you, like to at least look everything out. That's why I know so much about different religions.
I didn't want to get into it, but I mean, you bring it up. Can you see my screen? Tell me when you can see my screen real quick.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to see it. My bandwidth's down. If I turn my bandwidth up, my mic might start messing up.
Oh, okay. Well, let me read some things. I'm not going
to be able to see you soon.
Let me read a few things to you real quick. All right. Now, there's a lie. Here's an atheist lie that's been told. Historians believe that the Dark Ages was a terrible time of superstition that held back the growth of science. The truth, modern historians don't believe in the Dark Ages as portrayed in the liberal atheist media, and the Dark Ages, or the quote-unquote Dark Ages, is what led up to scientific revolution. During the supposed during the supposed darkest part of the Dark Ages, the early Middle Ages, they had I can't even say that word. Metallurgy, shipbuilding, advances in architecture, early philosophy, artwork, agricultural boom, higher life expectancy than the Roman Empire, and many other. I'm gonna let you speak in a second. Higher life expectancy than the Roman Empire and many other so-called bright age civilizations. So the early Middle Ages was actually a very bright period in human history. Go ahead.
Well, that's all how you look at it, because if I'm not mistaken, that was around the time of the bubonic plague, if I ain't mistaken, and that killed off like a third of Europe or something like that. You might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's around the same time period. And I also know that's when the famine happened. And yes, agricultural times did improve after the famine, because that's rise of the potatoes started happening and everything else, and they started learning how to.
That was during the Dark Ages. We had
Yeah,
agricultural
well,
boom.
that was because of the rise of the potatoes, exactly. But the start of the Dark Ages was when the famine happened. That's what actually started the Dark Ages. But throughout the course of the Dark Ages, yes, you saw a cultural boom with the potato, with the rise of the potato, because that's what actually helped get them through the famines and everything else. So yeah, like throughout the course of those years, and as far as the life expectancy span, let's remember they was dying very young in the European the Roman Empire. They was dying very young. They was doing a lot of those people was at war. They had the
Around 28.
gladiators. The
Yep.
gladiators was dying young, and this, that, and the third. So like they was dying, but they was dying young because of war and stuff like that. And plus, they medicine was some years behind than where they was in the famine days too. They also knew a little bit more about medicine during that time than they did when the Roman Empire was dominating this society.
Basically, I've just given you, I just given you this though. That is a
Yeah, I gave you
lie.
the reasons behind it. Yeah, I gave you reasons behind it, but yes, yeah.
Okay, now here's another one. The Roman Empire. Hold up, I'll start here. So the early Middle Ages was actually a very bright period in human history. The Roman Empire is often seen as the bright age, but in my opinion, it was one of the very darkest ages in history.
I would
Infanticide
argue that.
infanticide was common. That means they were killing infants, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that. The Roman there was a lot of grimy stuff going on up in there. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
All right. Then they had a full prohibition on autopsies, which prevented medical advances from being made. Had a
Yeah,
lower had a lower life expectancy than, just like you said, than many other civilizations and ages. Only around 28. That's when that was their life expectancy. 28.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah, all of it wasn't because of medical, but yeah, but they was behind the times in medical and everything. Like, yeah, like by the time Dark Ages came around, they was light years ahead of what they had medically
okay.
for the same reasons you just said.
All right. They made no significant mathematical or philosophical achievements. Truthfully, the Roman Empire was really a dark age. Now, during the Middle Ages, they made infanticide illegal. During the Middle Ages, they revived the practice of autopsy, had a higher expectancy than many civilizations, made significant philosophical and mathematical achievements. Now, what do you got to say about that? I mean, those lies that are being told. Are you under the spell?
Well, I mean, it wasn't. It's not lies. I mean, what? I mean, you're reading the stuff, so I mean, it's not lies that's being told. I mean, what you're talking about as far as perception. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of perceptions that's wrong as far as this. I mean, you ain't got to go that far back and look at wrong perceptions. You can
I mean,
you can go back and look at how slavery ended. I mean, it's this big perception that Abraham Lincoln loved black people.
hmm,
That's a miss. That's a
yeah.
crock of you know what, you know what I'm saying, like stop it. Like he was quoted as saying if he could end this war and keep slavery, he would.
Hmm.
He was after slavery was over, he said he made statements as saying that he knows that black people are subhuman, and if he could find a way to ship them back to Africa, I will.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I know that.
But that's not the perception of Abraham Lincoln nowadays. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so
Hey,
you know, you can't always go off the perception of things. You got to actually look into things and see what it really is.
that was a
You
wise
know,
move
so
for him to try to get rid of slavery because the South was very rich off of slaves.
well, I mean, it's a whole bunch of reasons why he did it. I mean, he did it to help get himself extra votes too, because you got to remember this country was expanding out westward, and when they was expanding out westward, they he needed people to occupy these lands so he can make them states. And then,
Mm.
and the more states you have, the more chances you got to get an electoral votes to get elected into presidency. So he had to fill these states up. Each state had to have an X amount of people for it to be considered a state.
Mm.
Well, let's free the slaves and let's give them some land out here and let's fill these things up with states, and then we can turn them blue.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what's going on. Like that was part of the reason. But slavery wasn't even the main reason why he went into war. The main reason why he went into war was over money. Let's call it what it is. I mean, they wanted to get control of the railroads. That was huge business at the time, because you gotta remember, this is before the automobiles, this is before airplanes and everything else. So all they had was the trains and horses. That was it. And you know, it was money in the trains, and they was trying to build a train that went from here all the way out to California, so to speak. But you know, it was supposed to go all up and down from the south and this, that, and the third, everything else. And again, and that was actually one of the reasons why we even won the war, was because they started ripping out the train tracks and everything else, and the South couldn't get their equipment and everything. They couldn't get their supplies, they couldn't get their food and everything else, because the North was ripping up the train tracks as they was moving down. But
you know, I have plenty more lies that I'm gonna link you for, you can read for yourself. But I don't know if it's
anything I ain't already known, but like if you're just going off perceptions and stuff, like I don't put too much credence into what the perception of things is. Like I said, like, you know, like I know how things get spun. A lot of things get spun different.
Exactly. It's spun towards making Christianity look like we were just looking up to the sky, but really we were the ones making the groundbreaking science and all this other stuff that
but the world also enjoys
today.
You gotta remember, everybody back then was just about theists, though, so that's not really saying too much. Like, you know, like everybody back then was pretty much like, if you wasn't a theist, you was being frowned upon back then. There was at least deists.
It looks like
at least deists. They believed in some form of a deity for the most part back then. You didn't have a ton of atheists,
but
running around.
To be fair, it looks like that the Christians were the ones that were undoing the chains.
They also were the ones who put us in it.
I don't see that. Where?
You don't see that?
Where are you talking about? The white people over here?
The first slave ship that came over here, touched ground, was named the Jesus something Jesus, or whatever the name of that ship was.
So you go,
yeah, absolutely.
You can look, hold up, but you can look at scripture and say that they were following.
Oh, we're not about to play that game. We're not about to play that game, bro. Because hold up, wait. We're not about to play that game, because you giving these same people credit for getting us out of chains, but then when I tell you that they put us in chains, you're trying to turn around and play this no true Scotsman. We're not going to play that, bro.
I'm not
they
playing.
Put us in it and they took us out. You could just call it that.
I mean, slavery was a business. There. Slavery is a business, right? That's what it was.
It absolutely was business. It was big business.
And we were sold into bonds by whom?
Well, you gonna tell me atheists did it? You ain't gonna tell me atheists did it.
No, I would say our own.
Okay.
Blacks and Muslims and what? Jews.
Well, it depends on where you're talking about. You talking about the transatlantic slave trade? Because transatlantic slave trade, there was a lot of POWs that was being sold off to the Europeans and shipped over here. Yes. But there was prisoners of war. Most of them, there was, larger tribes swallowing up the smaller tribes and selling off the men and some of the some of the women also, selling them off to the Europeans. Yes.
But when you look at it
was either that or death, because back then because what they was doing was swallowing up land, and it was either sell these people to the Europeans or kill them. Because it really wasn't too much other option.
And you know that Ireland, they were doing it too, to their own people. They were there were white slaves in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know that there were Chinese slaves.
I mean,
we're not the only slave people. There's no need to this.
We're the only ones that didn't get reparations. We're the only ones that didn't get reparations.
You know, we were about to get reparations. We were about to get 40 acres and a mule. We were about to.
I was about to go to California last year, but I didn't go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna justify it. I'm not gonna try to justify that. I still think that the black people should get reparations for slavery. 40 acres and a mule, just like they promised, or just a whole state. or two. Get some wealth. That if you really want to be friends with the black neighbors, why not? Why not just give what you owe? Quit. See, they played it. I mean, that's where I am with you on that. They played a whole game where, you know, oh, look at the black. They want something for nothing. No, you know, there is a debt owed. The Indians, the Native Americans, got their money, got their wealth. They got casinos all everywhere, Mississippi, all over the place. Good money.
Yep. The Americans still getting reparations to this day. Still.
Yeah.
All they gotta do is prove they down with the tribe. That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm all for reparations. Now, this whole thing, and I mean, I wasn't really just going about just bringing God into the equation.
I kind of did that. I was about to say I did that. Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I was more talking about if we don't do this thing peacefully, if you don't have strong leaders like, you know, Brother Malcolm or Martin Luther King, keeping people, you know, like you said, I agree with what you said. We
don't need God to be peaceful, do we?
Who said anything about God? You said it.
Oh, I thought you was mentioning. I thought you God. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
It has to be a peaceful. It has to be a peaceful movement. This is what I'm preaching. Now, of course, I mean everybody's gonna come in with their own faiths and everything, but I'm saying that the black people need to watch what they're preaching. Like you have brothers preaching, you know, some of them preaching violence, some of them preaching, you know, every white man's the devil, and that's not good.
Well,
that's
I don't hold.
That's gonna get.
I don't hold that position.
That's gonna get people murdered in the street, even though we're being murdered already. The thing is, you gotta. It's more of a peaceful resolution. If you don't understand in the history of mankind itself, peace always.
But listen to what you're saying, though. Listen to what you're saying. You just said that one of the problems is that black men run around here saying the white man's the devil. Those are only theists running around here saying that. See, this is one of the things I'm talking about. See, like I actually agree with you about this whole white man is devil crap, but just the fact that they just making that distinction, you don't see that as a problem? Like they viewing this like, because if you're viewing him as the devil, that means they're giving him the same power as a god.
They're twisting the word.
Like so
that's more rhetorical flair than anything. Like there are black atheists.
Yeah, I know
white man.
They say it means this. They say it means deception and deceiver and everything else. But when you hear these people talk, though, it seemed like it got deeper meaning than what they're trying to put off. So it's like I don't know. It's just symbolic. I don't know. I don't like the terminology. I never call white men devils or any of that. I don't even like the cracker. I don't like calling them cracker either. You will never hear me call a white man a cracker. I promise you won't. Ever. I would never give him that privilege. Ever in life.
It doesn't even matter to a white person if you call him a cracker. That's not a.
Well, the only people who take offense to it are the racists.
Yeah. So, like the N-bomb, you drop that somewhere, it's gonna explode. And I would say that's with the ignorance too, though. Words shouldn't even hurt you no more. I don't let the N-word hurt me. It surprises me. Like, wow, really, that's pretty racist there. But I'm not gonna just lose my good night's sleep. I'm used to it. Nah.
Are you gonna accept it? Are you gonna accept it?
I don't accept it. I just what am I gonna do? Lash out in violence?
No, but I mean,
get my ass locked up.
Oh, you talking about face to face?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the one locked up or shot down if I'm lashing out.
When was the first time a white person called you that?
Some white girl on the school bus. My brother slapped her. We were young.
You about how old? About roughly?
I was around 10, 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't even know. I see my brother get upset. He got upset.
I was 6 or 7. I think I was 6. I think I was 6 first time, and I was a camp, CYO camp. Little white dude at the camp said it to me, and me and him got into a fight over that. And yeah, that was the first time that I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the word is hurtful, but it doesn't hurt me. I don't let it hurt me. I'm like, okay, you feel that way. The sword is two-edged with that. You're showing your ignorance.
When he first said it to me, I was surprised at first a little bit, and I wasn't even sure if I should be mad because I was so young. I wasn't even sure if I should be mad, but a couple of my friends, threw a battery in my back, with the ooh, you heard that, as a kid, that's all you had to hear, you know what I'm saying? So they threw a battery in my back, and it was on from then. So, but yeah, I remember, and then I remember there was a time when I was a little kid. I was older this time, actually. I was closer to what you was talking about. I was about 11, 12, something like that. And this cop called me one, and I almost got locked up. Because I stuck up my middle finger at him when he did it. And after that, he threw me up against the car, roughed me up a little bit, ran my name, asked me if I had any warrants. I'm like, I'm 11. Asked me do I got any warrants? I'm 11 years old. Yeah. I don't care how old you are. Like, what's your name? I'll never forget that. Thought I was stealing. I had a wrestling magazine with me. He thought I stole it. Made me go all the way back to the store. The guy at the store had to prove that I brought it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah, my hate for the cops started at an early age.
I like the cops as long as they're not doing me wrong. I wave at the cops.
I don't trust no cop. I done seen too much dirty stuff in my days. I know some dirty cops. Yeah, I don't trust them.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just don't see. I don't see it. I don't see anything happening. Like you said, there's got to be some boots on the ground. There's got to be some boycotting of businesses. There's got to be some boycotting of work.
Now we talking. You're talking. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you got to support black businesses because we don't keep our dollar floating around amongst ourselves. We're never going to come up. We're never going to build up any type of wealth. We can't sit up here, even if we got it. Like, let's say I got a black business here, right? Selling whatever, I'm making decent money or whatever, this, that, and third. And all the money I make here, I turn around and I go to like Walmart. I go to I go to all these fast food places to eat my food and everything else, and like all the money is coming to me, and then it's going all out, and it ain't circulating. I'm not putting it back in, so it's not the dollars ain't circulating. That's why the community stayed looking the way it does, because everybody comes in, takes all the money out, and never puts it back in, and it just floats. It just goes away. It just magically disappears. Like the money comes in. And then it just magically disappears. It never stays circulating.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Now, I mean, as Americans, though, what else are we going to do? I mean, when all these companies around us are for everybody. It's not just certain race.
Well, that's what Jamal say. It might seem like it's for everybody because everybody can be employed, but only black people aren't getting wealthy off these big companies. Then there's not. I mean, they're just working everyday jobs, maintaining, but they're not getting wealthy off these jobs.
Yeah.
Like it's only it's only a few people that's getting wealthy off Walmart, and I promise you they're not black. So, yeah.
Did you want to say something, Doctor?
No, my cat bumped my space bar. I did. What sounded like what Psycho was saying, though, sounded a bit like the second Greenwood, the Black Wall Street that ended up getting destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what segregation to get us. I mean, I just don't see the reason to segregate neither.
Well, there can be pros and cons of it, especially if like you're part of a marginalized group of people. Like Jewish people self-segregated, and they were able to pool their resources and wealth together and become a very successful group of people, even though they started off incredibly marginalized. With Greenwood, something similar was happening, and then a bunch of white supremacists came in and killed a bunch of people and burned everything down.
Yeah.
I heard that was the government, actually.
No, it was out in Oklahoma.
It was kind of one and the same, because back in the 1920s, the Klan actually had political backing.
Hold up, am I hearing false information? What wasn't Black Wall Street bombed with airplanes too?
No, it was a riot.
It was a riot, and it was burnt down. A black guy got accused of raping a white woman in the elevator. That he actually didn't even do it, but it riled up all the white people in the neighboring towns, and the people over in over on Black Wall Street over there by Tulsa, Oklahoma, they felt the wrath. They went there and they kind of just they rioted.
Well, they rioted and they massacred literally hundreds of people in response to it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question. How is the black community ever gonna segregate when all they do is, when majority of us are basically fighting for each meal we get? How are we going? Where's this wealth going to come from to build our businesses? How are you going to build?
That's where the discipline comes in. That's where the mindset and the discipline comes in. That's why I said this. It takes time. Again, you got to stay disciplined though. But it's not enough people. If not enough people jump on board, it's not going to ever happen, because everybody has to jump on board and stay dedicated. But that's not going to. It's going to be rough, especially when everybody's pulling and tussling, struggling for power. We got to do it this way. No, the Bible says we need to do it this way, and no, the Quran says this, and no, we shouldn't follow none of those books, and no, this, that, and the third, and no, black women is the problem. No, black men is the problem. No, it's single mothers and blah blah blah. It's just too much bickering back and forth. When the solution is so simple and it's right in our face, but we refuse to stay dedicated because a lot of us are looking for the quick fix. We don't want to have to go through this long process. We don't want to have to build up slowly so our great grandkids won't have to go through this crap. Well, we want to do it. We want a quick fix so we can do it, so we can see it now. People want it to happen within their lifetime. It's not going to happen. And that's why, and that's what's going on. Each generation wants it to happen in their lifetime, and they're not worried about the future generations. And that's why the future generation is going to keep being screwed over. That's real.
It's incredibly difficult, but you could, even if you are fighting for, wondering where your next meal is coming from, because that's just the state you find yourself in. If you were to have an entire generation of people basically collectively work together to pool their resources back into their communities and just keep that dollar circulating within that community, you could, by the next generation, be tremendously more well off, and you will have, in some aspects, segregated yourself off from the rest of the community, but to greater effect of your children and your children's children.
Nah.
Exactly. You got to think about the future generations. We got to get out this thinking we're going to get a quick fix. Like it's nothing but a Band-Aid on an open, gaping wound. Is not going to do nothing. We got to stitch this thing up.
And it's also incredibly difficult when you have to have like near half a generation put other people above themselves, not just their kids, but complete strangers. Good luck getting people to do that.
Well, the Black Panthers were trying to do something similar, right?
Well, the Black Panthers, I think, what they were trying to do was basically act as kind of like a policing force. Yeah, that's how they started. And
At
they
first.
also fight against police brutality and any unlawful events. It was kind of like a community, private
neighborhood
security
watch, so to
industry.
speak. Yeah, kind of a neighborhood watch, but they actually was more groundwork. They policed the police. And and they also started moving on forward and started doing more social programs and everything else. They started branching off doing other things, but that's actually one of the things that caused the split in the Panthers too. Because the Panthers had a split going on at one point. Some people thought the Panthers should move on and start doing more social things, and other people thought that they should focus on fighting the good fight out in the street and getting at the pigs. So it ended up being a little bit of a split too. You had the Eldridge Cleaver side and you had the Huey P. Newton side, and they was arguing back and forth. And that was one of the things that killed the Panthers, because COINTELPRO actually is one of the things that caused the divide, and they kind of played on that.
Okay, here's another question. Okay, you got the instances where blacks are being killed in the street, right, by the cops. Mm-hmm. We all know that. But is it really a big outcry on shouldn't it be the black on black violence that's stopped first? I mean, I don't see it as blatant as, I mean, of course it's blatant when the cops kill a man, but
how are we supposed to stop black on black crime if we don't fix the situation that's causing black on black crime? I think if you're trying to fix the situation that's causing black on black crime, you're actually trying to stop black on black crime, right? I mean, people who bring up these black on black crime things and statistics and everything else, like, what about black on black crime? What you're pretty much doing is you're asking me to cut off a branch off this tree when this branch ain't going to do nothing but just grow back. I'm trying to tear the roots up off this tree so no more branches grow. So by me tackling this root is me tackling those branches. I'm just trying to get to the root of the problem, where some people just want to nip off the bud, not knowing the bud's going to grow back.
Oh yeah, so your solution would be, and I would agree with that, with black businesses starting to circulate some money. That's what you would start off with.
Yes, that would be one of the main things. Like, because once we start fixing our financial situation, everything else I think will fall into place. So that would be one of the main things I would focus on.
Yeah, you can start getting your kids in the better schools, right?
Exactly.
That's what that does seem
kids
more.
to start growing up. Kids to start growing up seeing a light at the end of that tunnel instead of nothing but darkness.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. That's gradual, something that we won't see in our lifetime, but you could get it going in a better direction.
Exactly.
That wouldn't really resolve an issue. Like, the thing I think about when I hear people say black on black crime, or in my case, like Métis or Indian on Indian crime, it's if you're going to commit a crime, if someone is in such straits or has a disposition to do that, they're going to do it to the people around them.
Yeah.
And so even if you fix the institutional problems, you're still going to have black people committing crimes against black people, white people committing crimes against white people at high numbers, because that's just what we do if we are racially segregated.
Exactly.
I would say also, once the black community starts doing better with the wealth, with the money that's starting to circulate, I think they should get their own not Black Panthers, but Black police force.
Their own private police force.
Yes. Like
we actually have something like that here in Canada with the First Nations people and the Iroquois Federation. Or the Iroquois Nation actually has their own policing force, and they're not reliant on the RCMP at all.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of that stuff, a lot of the violence in the hood and stuff could be solved if they weren't afraid to talk to the cops and not trusting of the cops. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you could trust your neighbor cop, your neighborhood cop, and say, hey, you know, Mr. So-and-so, we know who shot that, you know, kids, adults, and everybody start turning in these criminals and start getting into that. That's when progress will be had, Psycho. I think that's a great plan, actually. Instead of looking for Brother Polite or some leader, those type of things need to be happening, where communities need to be like, maybe put out some papers up and start going door to door, putting it on papers and saying, hey, let's have a community meeting and let's find out how we can start our own businesses and start this thing off right. That's instead of all at once, because you're right. It does seem like everybody wants to all at once get it right now in their lifetime.
It's not going to happen, and every generation had this. We're still stuck. If it's going to take one generation is going to have to just stand up and take the initiative and just realize, you know, we got to eat this. You know, we got to eat this, but we got to make sure that we getting things going for the next generation. Yeah, because it's nothing us included. Past generations missed the boat as far as like preparing us. They missed the boat. They was too busy thinking about, again, getting it done in their lifetime.
Yeah. That's a great plan. I can't go against that. And that's peaceful too. You can't say that's not peaceful when you want to just build your own business and get the community build it up where the money's circulating and
education too. Yeah, education also. I'm big on education.
Yeah, the education comes in with the wealth that's going to be circulating. Yeah. The houses will start coming up. You'll start seeing more prominent black families having money and sending their kids to colleges. And hey, you already got black colleges. I'm not too big on the whole just thinking about ourselves type thing, but I understand now that it will take that.
Well, there are two major things that in any country tend to correlate to a group's well-being, and it's education and access to individual health coverage and healthcare. If you could ensure those two things, everything else just basically dominoes right into it.
Right.
It's a weird thing to me, because if you were to ask somebody on the street, do you think that people have a right to an education? Most people are going to say yes.
Yeah.
But then how is it a right if you have to shovel out thousands of dollars to get it? If it costs me $20,000 to go to university, how is that a right?
It's a privilege, right?
Well, at that point, it would be a privilege, but technically speaking, it isn't a formal right, something that you're guaranteed under a constitution or a charter of rights and freedoms. But you could say it's a substantive right in that it's derived immediately from the other rights that you have, like the right to life, liberty, and happiness. You're not really going to be able to achieve those things without an education. So, I think that universities should be tuition free.
I actually agree with that.
Now, see, I mean, Psycho, you see a lot of you see a lot of celebrities, right? They jump up and scream all this stuff while we're the ones in the battlefield. Really, we're the ones getting hit, and they're the celebrities. But why isn't Jay-Z coming and making some black owned businesses? Why aren't their big wigs coming up with this community like me and you?
Jay-Z got to play the game. That's why.
That's
all these. Some celebrities are terrified. Man, they once they make it, that's all they cared about. They make it, and now they got to worry about maintaining their riches. I ain't gonna say wealth, because most of them ain't wealthy. You know, they got riches, but they're not wealthy. So, but they want to maintain their little riches or whatever, and And that's when they get up here and they start acting certain type of ways and saying certain things, you know, being intellectually dishonest with the media and with some of the statements they say and everything else when they know certain things a certain type of way. That's why I respect people like Jesse Williams, who actually stood up there and said what he said, because he didn't have to do that. Because he, you know, he could have been like some of these other people and just, you know, just worried about himself and not worried about everybody else's situation. But he was bold enough to go up there and make that statement, knowing he was risking getting blackballed for saying it. But
Yeah.
he, you know, he still took time out to say it, and I respect him for it.
I mean, there's got to be something against that, and there's got to be a power that be that is. You're right. Keeping the situation the way it is, because not me, you and Doctor here. This isn't nothing new. That I'm pretty sure this whole, you know, community meetup thing isn't new, man. Like, they could have been put this in motion. There's no way that's new news, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's not doing something for a reason. Now, like Tupac got shot, but I'm pretty sure he was gonna get some wheels moving on the black community coming together. Him, Suge, Death Row, they were doing all type of good things with the community and going to meetings. You can look up videos.
Suge wasn't thinking about building up no community. Suge all about himself. Suge's a bad example. He's an idiot.
But
he's
still,
all about himself.
At least he was attending, though. That's the thing. He was attending, and somebody in the community was getting some money from Suge, right?
Oh yeah, I mean,
he was donating something.
He did a couple of things and this, that, and the third, like for image, but ultimately he was a part of the problem. Ultimately.
Well, here's an interesting thought experiment for you, Matthew. Suppose I gave you $10 million, and you could spend it any which way you want with respect to reinvesting it into improving the lives of other African Americans. Why and how are you going to spend that money? Like, how would you ensure that it actually benefits everyone else?
Okay, what you do first? That's easy. That's an easy question. What you do is you build something that you know that the stock market is in need of. Maybe you could go that route. Say that pork is booming or something like that. You build a warehouse in the black community, put people to work in that community, make CEOs and managers. That's an easy question.
Yeah, but how would you go about
a lot of people going
erecting that business and getting the permits for it?
Huh?
Like a lot of people, when you think about it, it does sound easy. Like immediately, intuitively, you would think that, I just need to open a bunch of black businesses and hire a bunch of people. Yeah. But you have to go through a lot of avenues to get that.
A lot of red tape.
Aren't going to allow that. And
a lot of red tape and everything.
Of where people are basically confined to, you wouldn't be able to open a lot of businesses to employ people there because they're restricted to residential areas. You could open certain kinds of businesses, like little thrift stores or like hairstylists and things like that, but nothing like you wouldn't be able to open like a car manufacturing
not a large
plant.
chain.
Why
it's certain thing.
Go ahead.
Well, no, he's actually right. Like you get I don't even think you can I don't even think you can start a chain of supermarkets all the way across the country or whatever because of restrictions that you have to go through, regional stuff and everything. Like there's certain laws and stuff you got to go around and you got to get licenses for this and that, and depending on what it is you're trying to open up. So, and you know, that's why I say you got to think on a local level. Everybody has to build up locally, and then once you get to a certain point, then you can start merging with other companies and everything else and make some mega corporation or something like that. But everything has to start locally first, because that's the easiest avenues. If you try to start up some major chain that's supposed to stretch all the way across the country or whatever, you're probably going to be destined to fail.
Okay. Well,
Well, it's
say this. I got $10 million. The main thing the first thing you want to do is buy property. That's what you do. You buy property, and then you can contract all type of businesses, or you can sell your property to businesses. But
Yeah, you talking real estate?
yeah, real estate. It's all about the real estate. Once you have the land, you're gonna have to pay the taxes on the land, and that's it. You have the land, you got to pay taxes on the land, right?
Well, but the problem with buying property would be like, for example, if I bought an apartment building, sure, now I can provide people with affordable housing. I can basically lower the rent down so that I make enough profit to pay the taxes and maybe employ a couple of people. But all I've done is that. I haven't actually created any additional jobs for anyone, even if I'm contracting out to others. Because if you're going through contractors, you're going to have to hire people who are journeymen. And you haven't actually created anything else within that society.
Well, my first thing was a job, but you guys said, nah, I got restrictions.
Yeah.
I first went with, what's good for, like a Toyota plant. Or
you wouldn't be able to do that typically where marginalized people are basically forced into in a major city just because of zoning restrictions. You would have to basically think of a way of lifting everyone out of that area and moving them somewhere where you could build a plant to employ everybody. And that's incredibly difficult.
Yeah, you need wealth. 10 million wouldn't do that. 10, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 10 million won't.
Like I said, 10 million, you talking just opening up something local, like I said, yeah.
Yeah. Pop a chicken stop, just some nonsense.
Well, so you can go bigger than that, but yeah, it's still going to be on the local level though.
Yeah.
10 million, you could do a little something, but not.
Yeah, you could get the wheels moving.
Yeah, there are definitely things that you could do, but it would take well beyond your life to actually see the benefits of it.
Yeah,
exactly. Especially if you're talking about building something that's going to be big enough the way you can pass it down to your kids and employ a lot of people and like keep be able to keep the money circulating within the economy. So yeah.
Well, not even that. Like, would 10 million be enough to make a second Greenwood? If you could somehow uplift everybody.
Not in 2017. Not in 2017. No, you'll be lucky to get a block. You'll be lucky to get a block with that.
Well, that's all the Greenwood started out as, and then it expanded out. All you really need to start out with is a block.
Well, you probably could get a block in a major city or somewhere. For 10 million, you can get a block somewhere on a city block. Not a tight. Now, mind you, I'm talking one city block. I'm talking one city block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually that's a problem that my professor actually gave to us, where it's like we think that it's so easy that people can just go in and recontribute to their community, and when you start thinking about all the red tape that comes around, it becomes apparent why people haven't done this already. Yeah. It's incredibly difficult. It requires a lot of sacrifice. It requires basically giving up your entire life to ensure that your kids or some stranger's kids benefit for it. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. It's better to just go with the system.
I think the best thing to do would have to be some type of corporation, or something like FUBU or something with some type of business that can put us in a skyscraper, right? And I'm not talking about homes and apartments and stuff. I'm talking about a business that can employ an entire skyscraper of, you could say, black people, okay? if you want to go with the empowerment of the black people, it would have to start with you supplying something that America wants to buy, right?
Yeah,
So anything
exactly.
at this point.
Yeah, if
basically a porn company.
I'm not getting into that. I'm trying to get away from.
That's the oldest business ever.
Yeah, that was prostitution.
I'm talking about maybe something that supply and demand, and that's what rap is. So, but I don't. That's the thing. I mean, that's what Death Row and Bad Boy and all of them they should have been doing, is implying their black people into Bad Boy and getting all this money circulating. That could have, man, Puffy, all them dudes, they could do way more than I could do with $10 million, right?
Puffy has done a little something. He's actually put in money in ventures that I was involved with before. He does little things. He actually does do a little something. I'm gonna give him a little bit of credit. A lot of it goes unnoticed, but he tried to do the clothes thing that failed. He tried to do the Sean John thing that failed. Then for whatever reason, he decided to go into liquor. I didn't really approve of him doing that. He got his own liquor. The whole Ciroc thing that actually took off for a while. So he ventures into doing a whole bunch of different things. Employ some black people. I can't really get on Puffy too much.
No, I'm not getting on him. I'm just saying it should be showing, like, at least Black Wall Street type of improvement somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think he had his hands in too much things, and a couple of things that he tried failed, and some didn't. Puffy likes to try a little bit of everything, but he never. I feel you. If I had Puffy's money, I definitely would have tried to do a Black Wall Street somewhere. Actually, Harlem. He should have did it in Harlem. That's where he should have did it at.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we could.
Like, if you had Oprah's money.
Yeah, Oprah. Yeah.
You could probably buy yourself a president.
Now Oprah could definitely do it. Oprah can definitely do it. She's in the billions. She can definitely do it. Like, the last thing we really needed was a TV channel. She shouldn't even waste her time with that TV channel. That's the last thing black people need. No, BET got like 6 different sister channels. The last thing we need is another TV channel. That was silly for her to do. She could have put her money somewhere else.
Man. See the poor people like us, and I think we have all the good ideas and all the outreaching things that can that we could touch.
Don't got the money,
but we don't have the money. Yeah,
like that was a relative term,
huh?
Like, I mean, you say, "Oh, the poor people like us." It's like,
yeah,
we can afford a computer at least.
I'm poor.
Yeah. I'm not poor, but I'm not well off either. But
I'm broke. I mean, when we say poor, we mean like, we're not part of the 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't a part of the 10% either while you at
it. Yeah. I'm not making any K a year at the moment. But I mean, that's only my fault. The thing is, we got all these great ideas, though. The poor man, you could say, and I'm not just saying we're all dirt poor, but we have a lot of the things. Like, it's just like video games, right? When you get into PC gaming or any type of gaming, you see a game come out like Red Dead Redemption or something, and then all of a sudden you'll hear gamers just say, wow, only if they put like farming here, like a RPG type element, where you could farm and maybe marry a wife and have kids and go to town. And, if they implemented that, this game would be so much better. And that's the same way we're thinking about the economics in the black community, the things that we could do if we had the resources. That's all.
Yeah, things that I know will be supported. There's certain things I know will be supported if it was done correctly, and it's certain things that that we always going to need. But yeah, I don't know. We get too caught up in entertainment. It seems like whenever we get money, we want to dump our money in entertainment.
Yep.
Whether it be music, movies, whatever, we just want to dump our money in entertainment.
Living for now.
It's frustrating.
The easy solution to that is just get everybody to move out into the country. You're never bored out there. You get redneck very fucking quick, though. I remember when I was a kid, we lived on a farm, and we'd get bored for about 2 seconds, and then we've decided to go shoot propane tanks.
That sounds exciting.
Well, they don't actually go boom like you would expect them to.
Oh, they don't? Oh, that's what I was
expecting. But you puncture a hole in it, and all the propane starts seeping out that hole, so the canister starts like dancing around. So that was like just off of the reserve too, and we didn't have really a TV or a computer or anything, so you had to go out and make your own fun. But the world is basically your jungle gym at that point.
I'm a 70s baby, so I know about having to make up your own fun.
I guess what popped into my head just now was it's not Puffy's fault. It's not anybody. It's not any black dude that's done made money. It's reparations. It's reparations. No. That's what if the black people were given reparations like the Native Americans and actually treated as a friend, like Tupac said, as a friend in society, and say, hey, you know what? We're gonna make this slavery thing right. And boom, just hit people off with land. There's so much land in America that's inhabited, or uninhabited, that we can that you could just give you could give millions of people just this land and say, hey, guess what? On top of that, you're gonna get, you're gonna get your resources and all of this stuff. There's no need to build Black Wall Street. You can
if they just gave people developed land, is what you're saying.
Yeah, states. There's states.
That's essentially what you would have to do to move people out of the zones that they're in, so that you could actually start building companies to employ people within those communities.
Yeah, start using the resources, start bringing in the military, bring in all the,
That's actually my motto for realignment if it ever did happen.
What?
Would be something what you're talking about.
Yeah, bring in the cement trucks, bring in all the white man. It wouldn't even be just saying races against each other or nothing. The white people would actually help out and say, hey, let's help and build up a city and build up this state.
Because we still going to be trading. It's still going to be trade and everything else, and this, that, third. And nobody's talking about war. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Well, there are people talking about war, but there are
some people. Yeah. Some people, yeah. Like, I'm not one of those. I don't push for that.
No.
That'll solve all the problems right there.
Iron Nation is who I was referring to. But
yeah. He pushes for that. Him and Dionysus and all of them, they push for that crap.
Well, I love talking to Iron because he doesn't really know how to respond to me. I always just kind of like stick the knife in and twist it with him. I talk to him.
Yeah.
It's like I'll like say goodbye to him by saying, "Okay, now you can go back to work and pay for my school." Because I have dirty blood, according to him.
Yeah.
I'm working on.
Dario's a bitter man. That's what he is, and most people like him are very bitter.
I think
I just think he
Dio,
has a small penis.
I think Dio's just
That's why he's angry at black people.
he's mad. I mean, he uses racism to get under people's skin, and I think he wants to be part of the topic. He wants to be part of the attention in
No,
the room.
he believes everything he says, bro.
Yeah.
He believes everything he says.
But yeah,
He
he's
has a
nice.
very weird view of things where it's like, yes, he believes everything he's saying, and yes, he has attributed his bad luck in life to blaming it on people of other races.
Yes.
But when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, it really just boils down to what he finds aesthetically pleasing. And then he just gives it like some kind of real world force that is how he should behave and how everyone else should behave, attributed to his personal preferences on what is good to look at in his opinion.
Yeah.
Basically, if he thought a redhead was more attractive than blondes, he would think that everybody should have sex with redheads so that we have more redheads.
Yeah, that's exactly how he thinks.
Yeah, that's just how crazy he is about it.
But yet Dio treats me like a human being. I don't think he's racist.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, no,
making
he's
excuses
racist.
for him, man.
I don't think he's
Stop
racist.
making excuses for him. Well,
I'm not
who do you
making
call
excuses.
racist if you don't call him racist? Who do you call racist then?
How can one be racist when you totally
When you think that
Give me an
your
example.
particular
Give me an
race is
example of a
superior to
racist.
any other,
Give me an example of who you call a racist. Can you give me an example of somebody?
David Duke.
You don't think Dio's as bad as David Duke? I can argue he's worse than David Duke.
I could link you to Hangouts where he said the exact same things that David Duke has said. Like he's quoting him verbatim.
Well, I'm not defending. I'm not defending. I'm just
he
saying.
follows David Duke. He follows David Duke.
I'm seeing a hypocrisy in him and Dio.
Well, there's a conflict,
And-
not necessarily hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Again, and I understand it. It boils down to his weird ass obsession with Schopenhauer and aesthetics. But he's still racist.
Totally racist. He's totally racist.
Like you can be a
And he's
racist
he's
and not be a
made
bad
comments.
person. But
He's made comments about spating black women. That was my introduction to Dionysus. That was my introduction. My first conversation with him was because I was in the outside chat. I was brand new to Nadia's or whatever. I think it was only like my second day going over there, and I'm on the outside listening. And all of a sudden, he's in there talking about spating black women, so black women can't have any black children.
I remember that discussion.
Well, maybe he is racist. I'm not going to defend him.
No, he definitely is racist. But he's also at the same time an incredibly confused individual.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Now, Iron, he's just blatantly racist.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, both of them racist. Yeah, they racism is different levels. Is different levels of racism. Like Dionysus is more blunt with what his end game. He wants his end game to be. Iron to try to play the game. He'll try to be a little deceptive with his racism. He'll try to, he's passive aggressive
More
with his stuff.
politician-y.
Yeah, he's very passive aggressive with his racism.
And he probably
I
plans.
know
to
he
be
gets
in
pretty
power.
aggressive with me.
That's why. Has he showed his face? I bet not.
I know what he looks like.
I've seen him before. Yeah, I've seen him before.
around on like Facebook.
He's never
and
got on
stuff.
cam. Yeah, he's never got on cam, but I've seen a picture of him before. Look like Richie Cunningham.
For real. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, look, he looks. Happy Days.
Oh yeah,
Happy
yeah,
Days.
yeah.
Ron Howard.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I
You
know.
make me feel
that.
old psycho.
He looks like when he was young.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like back when he was in that. What was that movie with that old movie in the 70s where they was like little old 50s gang members or whatever. I forgot the name of that movie. But yeah, he looks like a younger version of him.
I know exactly what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, John Travolta and Fonzie, Richie, Henry Winkler was in the movie too, I believe.
You ain't talking about
What was the name of that movie with Ryan? Now you gonna make me it's bothering me now. What was the name of that movie? It was a popular movie at the time too. It came out right before Happy Days. Happy Days came out after that, actually.
What was Tom Cruise in that?
Was he? I don't think so.
Tom Cruise and
if he was, I didn't know he was in it.
Man, what's the other? Patrick Swayze. I'm talking about I know this movie. Now you got me on it now.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Give me 1 second. Because now it's bothering me. I hate that. Shit, I put the wrong thing.
I'm thinking about
The name of that
The Wild Ones or something. Some lady made a book on it.
It was old. It was kind of like Grease, but it wasn't Grease. It was but it was like an old joint like that.
Crybaby?
Not Footloose.
No, not Footloose.
No, Crybaby was with Johnny Depp.
Where's this filmography at? There we go. American Graffiti. That was the name of it. American Graffiti. That was bothering me. Yeah.
And I was talking about The Outsiders.
Came out in 73.
Yeah. Dang. So you were born in late 80s?
For me, no, I'm a 70s baby. But I remember, movies used to come on, like that was one of the movies used to come on late show. late movie or whatever.
Yeah.
That used to be like on heavy rotation. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you probably old as my brother. He's 38, 39. Yeah, 38, I mean.
Yeah, I got him by a few years, but yeah.
Dang. Are you in your 40s?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think that. I thought you were younger. Yeah, I've been on this.
Yeah, a lot of people be thinking that. Yeah. Yeah, I see. I'm Generation X, man. That's why I said like we was the lab rat kids. That's why I seen a lot and witnessed a lot and experienced a lot. Like we was the kids that used to get bussed out to different areas and everything else to experience life with different ethnicities, so to speak, quote unquote. We was like I said, like the first time I got called nigga, that was at a CYO camp. That was with it was only like about 10 of us, and it was like about 300 kids there. So yeah,
I get what you're saying. That was after the Flower Children.
Yeah, afterwards,
after the 60s, boom, the 70s.
My parents was very active during the civil rights movement before I was born. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Lived through the Newark riots out here and everything.
Oh, you been there the whole time?
Huh?
You been there in Newark?
I was born out here, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you stayed there your whole life, basically?
Well, off and on. I've lived in Texas for a couple of years. That was interesting. That was a culture shock.
Yeah, I lived down
life
there.
a whole lot different down there.
I got my first nosebleed there.
In Texas?
Yeah. Messed with my sinuses.
What part?
Killeen.
Oh, I know where that's at.
Yeah,
I
about
know exactly where that's at. Yeah. I used to stay around the outskirts of Austin. Small town called Round Rock.
Yeah, that's 45 minutes away.
Yeah. That's what I said. I used to have to make trips out there to Killeen. I know where that's at. I got a ticket out in that town. I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah. I like Texas though, but it's weird. It's like it's slick. It's a slick state. Like you'll think you're in Mississippi. You'll think you're in a Mississippi type place.
Boy.
But then you'll walk down the corner and guess what? You get your head taken off.
I'm gonna tell you, one of the scariest times of my life. I was on my way. I was leaving Texas on my way back up to Jersey, and I was on. Yeah, I told you about this, right? Yep. Yeah. I was on route. What was that 10? Riding through Mississippi in the middle of the night. I swear I was terrified, bro. All I kept thinking about was Mississippi burning. I think I saw that movie one too many times because I swear that's all I was thinking about. And I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language. I got to get out of here for real.
When was this?
It was so dark.
Was that in the 90s or what?
Nah, this was like what? 2006.
Oh, okay.
2006.
Yeah, it's creepy, ain't it?
Yeah, no street lights, nothing. Oh, it was only thing. It was just car headlights, and I was the only car out there.
You drove
no street
through?
Lights, no nothing. Yeah, I was driving. Yeah, I wasn't stopped in Mississippi, bro.
Nah,
yeah, I drove through.
You were driving like through the state, like sideways, or you were going up?
Oh
north?
yeah. I was driving through. I was heading up towards Atlanta. I didn't go up till I got to Atlanta. I was heading 90. I took Route 10 to New Orleans. I was out in New Orleans for a while. I was looking around the whole. It was right after Katrina and all that, so I was like a little bit in shock of how New Orleans was. So, I went through all that and everything else. I got the route. Matter of fact, Route 20. Then I took Route 20 all the way to Atlanta, and then from there, I jumped on 95 and went straight up.
Yeah. Mississippi is a sight to behold. That's where I go. I travel that all the time. I've been through almost every part of Mississippi, and it's some flat land, and I've been through
a lot of nothing.
Yeah, the Delta.
From what I saw.
Yeah.
It's a lot of nothing. Just a lot of nothing.
It's beautiful, but then it's creepy at the same time. You see a lot of slave houses and stuff down here.
I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
If it was during the day, I probably wouldn't have been as nervous as I was, but being that it was so dark out there and everything, yeah.
You can
again, I seen that movie one too many times, bro. One too many times. That's all I could think about.
Well, I'm gonna take this off air, even though there's no viewer anyway, so we could just keep talking about